Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this homemade rosemary pomade. It's very simple, it's very cost efficient, and it's amazing for your hair. So if you're interested to know how to make this homemade rosemary pomade, then stick around for the rest of the video. So for today's video you're going to need some oils, and I want to say that these oils can be customized based on your personal preference. You do not have to use the same oils that I use. I chose oils that work for my hair and that I like. So if you're planning on making this butter or giving it a try, then I would highly recommend using oils that work for your hair type and oils that you like. So the first one I have is jojoba oil, and I love jojoba oil. Jojoba oil wasn't something that I initially used at the start of my hair growth journey. I started out with Jamaican black castor oil, sweet almond oil, and grapeseed oil, and I still love grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil to me is, you know, the goat. But I have come to love jojoba oil, and it has many benefits for your hair. So this is one oil that I'll be using today. I'll also be using some homemade Jamaican black castor oil, and you know me, this is my ride and die. This is something that has helped me tremendously through my hair growth journey. I love Jamaican black castor oil, and it works amazing for my hair. The smell, however, isn't the best, but once you get past the smell, then this oil is amazing. You're going to also need shea butter. You can choose to use any shea butter of your choice. This is the one that I currently have, and I don't really have a lot left in this. This is what we'll be working with for today. You're going to need some coconut oil. This is also homemade, because you know me, a DIY girly. I make everything, well, not everything, but I try to make most of the stuff that I use in my hair. So this is some homemade coconut oil. Of course, you're going to need rosemary, which is the main ingredient. You're going to need your container, something to strain with, a spoon, and you're going to need a glass jar. And these are pretty much all you'll be needing. So let's head right into the video. The first step of the process is where we're going to be infusing the light or carrier oil, which is the jojoba oil, with the herbs. So for this, you're going to need to place your rosemary into the glass jar, and you want to ensure that your rosemary is freshly washed and it is dry, because we don't want any water in this process. Well, at least this first stage. So you're going to ensure that your jar is also dry, and you're going to take your rosemary and place it inside the jar. Now I want to point out that you can use fresh rosemary, you can use dried rosemary. It is all dependent on you and your personal preference. You can also go ahead and break the branches like this and add it in as well. Now once the herbs are in the glass, you're going to go ahead and add your oil to it. So for this, you could use tea tree oil, olive oil, whatever oil you like to use. So you'd go ahead and add some to the herbs in the rosemary in the jar. You're going to put the lid on it, and we're moving on to step 2. Now before we move on to step 2, I want to say that you can leave this for about anywhere to 6 to 24 hours closed, and then now we can move on to step 2. Now we're moving on to step 2, which to me is the most fun part of this process. This is where all the mixing and melting and all that niceness takes place. So to kickstart step 2, you're going to need to put some water on your stove and allow it to warm up. After which, you're going to place the jar with the rosemary and jojoba oil into the water, and you're going to leave it in the water for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now once the water starts to bubble up a bit, you're going to turn off the stove, because as I said earlier, you don't want the water to come to a boil. You just want it to be warm enough to actually complete the second part of the infusion process, which is allowing all the nutrients in the rosemary plant to be absorbed into the oil. And as you can see, the oil is completely green right now. If you remembered it previously, it was a bit yellow, but now it is green. That means that the rosemary is actually infusing with the oil. So after allowing the rosemary and jojoba oil to sit into the water for a few minutes, it's time to add our oil. So I'm going in with some Jamaican black castor oil. I'll be adding some homemade coconut oil along with the shea butter, and I'm just going to cover the jar once more once I've added all the oils and allow it to sit a few more minutes into the water for it to be melted and infused into the oil as well. And once the mixing process or the combination process is completed, it is time to strain your oil into your jar. So as I said earlier, you're going to need a container for storing your jar, and you're also going to need something to separate the oil from the leaves, because you don't want the leaves to be in the oil. Now at this point, you could go in with some fragrant oil or some essential oil like peppermint or tea tree oil if you have it. That can help to give your butter or your pomade a little extra kick to it. The final step of this process is allowing the pomade to solidify. So you actually have two ways of doing that. One is that you could leave it at room temperature for 24 to 36 hours, or the other option is that you could put it in the refrigerator for 6 to 8 hours. So here I'm showing you the pomade. It is not completely solidified. It has been in the refrigerator for about 3 hours, but I wanted to show you guys like a final result, or maybe a 75% result. So once it is solidified, it is good to go, and you can go ahead and add it to your hair. So that's pretty much the end of the video, and until next time, bye my loves.